I know a lot of people have Ryze on the mind because, of course, has been a very popular champion at the moment, especially with Azir and Orianna almost being permanently banned. But let's see exactly what is going to be taken away here as we dive into Champion Select for game number 1 of this Bro and Brew special Best of 5 Fearless series. It's going to be the first time that we're going to see it, so of course nothing taken away just yet, apart from Malphite. Wow, someone can read patch notes.
So still banning it, still not letting it get through. Rumble, not too much of a surprise. These picks have kind of just been perma-banned, but again, we've seen nerfs come through the Malphite. Bro still saying, we don't care, we don't want to see it. Vi, another thing that obviously has been heavily prioritized. And the things that we still sort of expect to see in the early rotation, things like Jace, that is the question. Does it get let through? Does it get banned? No, nope, still going to get banned. There's a new patch, I'm telling you guys. You can see at the bottom middle of the screen, patch 26.2. It did happen.
It did happen. We just may not necessarily see it. Orianna's going to get banned here. It is exactly the same bans that we were seeing all last week. I hope things deviate. I also hope that the Bros are going to first pick Varus if it is going to be left up, because that will be pretty powerful champion in the right hands, and I think Teddy has some pretty good hands for it. It's going to be Ryze instead, though.
So I think something to be said for Roma is that he has played a lot of games in Talia, Orianna, and Ryze, and not much else. You know, he had a Ziggs game, a Syndra game, and that's basically it. So ensuring he is on a pick he's comfortable on has kind of been Bro's priority. And the Ryze is really strong. We've seen Anivia into it, we've seen Cassiopeia into it. There's definitely been some success, but the Talia into it has been just not working at all.
No.
So DRX going for this avenue does not really inspire too much joy.
Unless they immediately lock Pantheon. But I wouldn't like that, because I want them to pick up Jace, because I think denying it from Teddy, sorry, not Jace, Varus, because denying it from Teddy is pretty good. But instead, I think it will be, never mind, Yunara?
This is risky.
Picking Yunara into an open Varus?
Yeah, that's super risky. Also, another thing, Ashe got a slight buff as well, and we saw Ashe Seraphine, you know, that was played into the Yunara Lulu be really successful. LPL has kind of picked that up and really been favoring that, so we could see a more of a lean towards that and just kind of crushing the lane. For now, Bro are going to say, hey, you're not going to take the Pantheon, we will take that happily. And this mid jungle is so strong because you have point and click CC from either side. You know, one of them connects, the other one's just going to follow up. So much burst between them. I mean, this entire top side is point and click. Obviously, one of the things with the Yunara is that she is quite mobile. You kind of need one of them to have flash, but as long as one of these three has flash and the Yunara doesn't have cleanse available, it's just a pile-on effect, right?
Yeah.
They will jump on top of Jiwoo and shut him down, so a lot of early mid-game power from the top side of Bro. Nara's going to come through from DRX, not too much of a surprise. We've seen this matchup a ton of times, not just in the LCK Cup, but forever. And the Varus gets banned, so interesting they didn't prioritize that inside the Renekton. Yeah, I'm somewhat confused about that. At least it does appear on the ban list, so that is confirmation that it's possibly 26.2 that we're actually on. Lulu going to be taken away here to deny the Lulu Yunara lane. I think Nico probably deserves a little bit of a look in as well. But is there a flex possibility for this Talia? That's my question. Into the jungle. She did get some buff to her damage to jungle monsters.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe that we are actually in the new patch and DRX are cooking. That's all I want to leave up in the air. As there's that Nico ban that we were expecting, pretty obviously taken away. There is the Corki as well. So 2 of the best AD carries on the patch taken away here to try and make sure that the Yunara's life is as good as possible. It's not. It's not a jungle Talia. It's just not.
Yeah. I'm not sure what you would, if you would flex the jungle, what you'd put mid. That would kind of make the situation better.
Talon mid. That's probably what you'd have to do.
Okay, we'll see what Bro go here. Toying with the idea of the Aphelios.
That would be a little bit of fun. I think Teddy more likely to play Ezreal. But I don't really like that either. I want to see that Ashe Seraphine thing that you were talking about.
Yeah, that could be pretty cool, but maybe a bit unsure if they don't know the support matchup. Could just go like Ezreal Rakan, Ezreal Karma.
Yeah.
I think both of those are completely fine.
I think Karma makes a lot of sense because a lot of the champions that you pair with the Yunara for, you know, a happy fun lane have been taken away already. And then you can really kind of brute force the lane, but instead thinking about a little bit more of a defensive option here for Namgung as the Braum is being hovered and will be locked away.
Okay, Ezreal Braum, a lot of skirmishing power.
That's Brad.
Does kind of open up to a situation where you don't have as much reliable engage as like a Rakan. And I did say that like the top side of Bro have, you know, they have that sort of point and click CC. But if this does go a little bit later and the Yunara comes online, a little bit worried about kind of the aiming situation we had in the series last week.
Yeah, the how do you kill Yunara thing?
If he gets like a cleanse, right, you know, you don't have that sort of Rakan ult where they can just lock him down. And also Braum can't do as much in lane as like a Karma could. If you do hit, you know, Winter's Bite and Andal oversteps, sure, but Andal's been pretty good in the Bard, so I think you maybe don't have as much pressure you should hope for by going that Braum. But either way, I think a lot of mid-game pressure from this composition from the Bros. Not exactly the composition I'd say is like a Braum Brew comp. I think they do make things happen. But we'll see what they can do with it. That Rise as well, so powerful, and the Actualizer Spike has just won games in and of itself. So we'll see what they can do with that.
Yep. You were questioning the Bro and Brew. Compositions don't matter, okay? You might be saying, yes, they need to get ahead. Yes, they need to do this and that. This is DRX versus Bro. This is a gentleman's bout that we are about to witness. And this is all about making it to the late game with all of those items and money and doing it in the most dignified way possible. Let's go on the riff for game one. All right. DRX and Bro fans in full voice today in a packed house at the Chijijik Law Park today. As let's see who is going to be able to take the victory. DRX on our blue side, the Bros on the red, but they had the right of first selection. So this is the composition that they elected to go with. I think some question marks there. I imagine, you know, Wolf backstage is a little bit upset about the killability of this Yunara. He is sort of the king of how do you kill Yunara guessing games, and didn't come up with too many options, and then aiming won the game earlier on. That might be the case here. Jiu has been known to put himself in positions on the map that are not necessarily the best. So let's see whether he can shore it up here. As of course, over the last couple of weeks, he has looked better than last year.
Yeah, I think he definitely has. I think it's been an improvement. I think last year was a bit rough for him, all things considered, especially when we compare to like his peak when he was on Nongshim, and he was the most hyped player.
Yeah.
But definitely seeing a bit of that energy coming back. Just still some inconsistencies. And although on the Bard has been really impressive.
Yeah, his Bard was actually phenomenal.
Yeah, we've been seeing some great Bard play, not just from Carrier, which is kind of the expected, but it kind of across different teams.
Andal's Bard in their last game was unbelievably good, so that one is going to be worth looking out for. I believe we had another player also having a pretty great game when we weren't necessarily expecting it. Was it Korea? No. Korea? No. It was someone else. Someone who we weren't necessarily expecting to be great on Bard played a really good game on Bard, as well as Andal. So, cool stuff here in the LCK. Let's see whether Andal can continue channeling that, as he does just eat a flower. Yeah, and Teddy and Namgun just able to push them in, but again, hard to really apply too much pressure in this lane. But it does kind of make it very uncomfortable for Willa to play towards the bot side of the map. You know, we talked a lot about things like Lucian Braum and how skirmishing in the river very difficult against them, but I mean Ezreal Braum as well, especially with the Pantheon. This kind of trio, you know, like if Pantheon goes for that empowered stun, triple auto to instantly stack the Braum passive is just so scary. Yeah. So can't really engage too much with Bro in these sort of early game skirmishes. Having a look here at the mid lane, Yukal was a phenomenal Taliyah player at the beginning of his career. One of the players that really did enjoy this one. So seeing whether he can channel a little bit of that, as we know that this pick has not necessarily found the most success, but right now does have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to the farm. Yeah. Both of our mid laners taking the Ghost, and Romer actually already using his, I believe, to get back to lane. Yeah, he reset for the early tier and just ghosted straight back to get there as soon as possible. Obviously, Taliyah can move against the train and get back pretty fast, so doesn't even need to use that.
And I think we'll pull a little bit ahead in terms of farm as well off the back of this.
And there's level 4 hit. A little bit of aggression towards Teddy, who misses everything on his way out. Can understand that, though. Was a little bit frightened about what was going on. And we'll get tagged. I don't think the bro's too worried, as the Braum Ezreal, as you already alluded to, not necessarily going to be smashing this lane given the ranged nature of the Bard, and Jiu's access to the lane, to the wave because of that. And we do know that Inara just really likes being able to hit the wave.
Yep, just super strong with those autos. And also a big thing is the level 6 of the Inara. We've seen a lot of times capitalized on and just able to have so much all-in power, especially compared to an Ezreal who's kind of, you know, if you connect, you'll share, but a bit lackluster in those all-ins.
Oh, Roma taking a bit of damage here as the threaded volley not quite going to find it. And with Gideon showing up, not going to be too much more. But Andal just being a little bit frustrating here. And Roma not going to be able to ghost back to lane this time. So going to miss out on a little bit more. And already it's about a full wave here for Yukal in advantage. As Roma will be sticking around just to make sure that he does collect some of that. So never mind. He's going to be able to even it out.
Yeah, had some cover from the rest of his team, so you could stick around and pick that up. Not too much of a concern. Some good pressure there from Yukal.
All right. Teddy and Jiu just hanging out in this lane. Namgun going to make his way back after getting a little bit of vision down in the mid lane. But right now it is a lot of control of the bottom side belonging to DRX. He's not quite able to hit the Winter's Bite. And right now as we're Broen and Bruin, DRX looking pretty comfortable, you could imagine.
They're feeling pretty okay.
Never mind. Oh, Andal taking a fair bit of damage. Does get a Cosmic Binding back and not quite able to hit the concussive blows are the bros. Concussive bros. Maybe that's what we should call it.
Yeah. It definitely feels like the Braum vibes.
Yeah. Just concussive bros.
Especially a composition like this, you know?
Yeah.
It is just 5 concussive bros.
Yeah.
A lot of CC.
Exactly right. And a lot of it is definitely going to land. As Willa is going to get visited. Whoa. Does have Yukal coming over as Roma not going to get picked up by that seismic shove as Willa's desperately trying to run around the rocks. Slowed down though is this Rise as Willa just wants to get in there. Can he find the Wind Becomes Lightning? He does. There's the Blast Cone, the flash used from Roma to get himself out of there, but still has to invest the expensive Summoner spell. And so the bro's looking a little worse for wear, even if it still says 0-0 on the kills.
Yeah, Roma living up to his name, but I'm not sure really where he was going with that one. He was just journeying.
That's the whole point of roaming, though, is you just don't necessarily know. You're roaming. You're just roaming free.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing.
Well, we need to question his journey.
Sometimes calibrating the Realm Warp is difficult, you know? They explained it in Star Wars. You know, if you get the calculations wrong, then you could find yourself inside of a star or something like that.
That's what happened in this situation.
Just didn't quite do the calculations correctly.
Yeah. I think Yukal as well, following the wall, a little uncomfy. And Gideon was like, oh, you're on your own there, buddy.
Yeah, and he was. And then he got out. But had to use the flash. So we'll see whether we do have Willa making his way back there, try and lock down a kill or something like that. But right now you can see it's about a kill's worth of lead here for Yukal just by picking up more minions than Roma. So the Talia definitely having a better time this time around than what we saw last week. Good news, good news. So, Rich not necessarily smashing this top lane though, as we can see, Casting actually having a pretty good time on the Renekton into Benar.
I think Casting honestly has been playing pretty well. I think last year there was that switching in and out with Perfect on KT.
Yeah.
And especially when they were in the Legend Rise group, it was kind of, they were both struggling. But I think he's looked good so far in the LCK Cup. Even when they did have that series against KT, going up against the player he'd been sort of subbing in and out for, had a good performance. So doing well in this matchup. Obviously a positive. Gnar later in the game is just going to be a menace in side lanes, but if you're holding up well so far, it's definitely a positive.
Yeah, it's working out. Currently about 100 gold in the lead, so not going to be too worried about heading towards this mid game right now with some steel caps and a cheeky extra dagger than his opponent. But as we said, they're just going to get Nard, and Rich is going to have a better time going back towards his mini Gnar. Namgung making his way towards mid, will be spotted on this ward, and actually Yukal going to find him there, puts up the door. And when will our first neutral objective be started? It's 8 minutes into the game. Dragon has not been looked at in the 3 minutes that it's been alive.
Oh, no.
There is a flick back onto Roma. Remember, doesn't have flash. Will get meep slapped, but otherwise not too much going to come of it. As Casting going aggressive once again. The flash forward from this Renekton as Rich doesn't have a hop anymore. In comes the Pantheon, and that is first blood for the bros.
Nice pickup there. The rest of DRX moving in to try and respond, but I don't think that they're in time.
6 seconds until Weaver's Wall. The flash forward from Willa, though, wants to lock down. Gideon knows that there is no flash available. He puts up the Aegis, and there's the run wop to deliver them all in, but that is 2 kills over to Willa already. Now looking for Roma, who still doesn't have flash, but isn't going to be targeted. That is 2 dead here as DRX answer back.
I think, honestly, Bro were a little bit slow to leave. Casting even stood still for a second there, and then DRX instantly aggressive. Willa with the flash, able to punish.
And we did have Coach Voice here as well. Their only game plan is setting up with Pantheon ult, is what Joker is saying. Let's focus on fights. It looks good as long as Xin Zhao can match Pantheon, and make sure you don't use too many skills when Pantheon has E up. They did throw a lot of skills into the E, however, they still managed to kill him, so it was fine.
Yeah, and the thing is, they matched Pantheon, so they sort of met exactly what they were looking to do here. And as we see it play out, you know, Casting had just gone a little bit slowly there.
Let's see how many abilities. One up. Namgun.
We don't get to see it. Namgun in trouble here.
He does stand beside Roma, but there is the magical journey. And down will go the Braum. The mobility of this composition is actually kind of insane.
Yeah.
With the Weaver's Wall as well as the magical journey delivering everyone else. Flick back not going to quite connect there, but DRX creating a decent advantage for themselves to the tune of about 1,000 at the moment.
In fact, you already have 3 kills on Willa, and he has that Sundered Sky. It just makes it so hard to opt into these skirmishes, and Bro have a very skirmish-based composition. You know, you have Pantheon, Braum.
Yeah.
You want to be running around just fighting people. The fact that you now can't because you're so far behind already, and your jungler is so much weaker, really puts you in an uncomfortable spot.
And that is going to continue here as they'll lose their blue buff. Gideon just pushed out of his own jungle. Willa is an absolute monster today.
Yeah, he's in good form, and it feels like the coach voice helping out.
Yeah.
Doing exactly what he needs to do.
That Sundered Sky spike, though, I feel like over the last year and a half, it has just been the most coveted thing. So
yeah.
Willa playing around it very beautifully here. We'll find another one becomes lightning, actually, as now Roma, 3 Talon Strike will be avoided. And Willa not with his flash available. Another blast going to disengage. Shout out to Valdez. And DRX continue on the front foot. A little bit of dancing here from Andal, trying to work out where to go. But right now, Willa is just taking all of the stuff. All of the things on the map belong to Willa. And here on this bottom side, Jiu is alone, but maybe not for long, as Yukal was rotating down. Not going to quite be able to get that next plate here as Willa does secure the final grub. Pantheon makes his way down, but the man drop is
bad.
Yeah, not going to have too much. And now Tempered Fate going to try to hold Gideon in position, but he can't get over the wall. He's thrown back. There's another seismic shove, and Rich is going to collect his kill. Oh man, I needed to quote Chronicler there and say that he could have flashed over the wall, but he couldn't because he didn't have flash.
Didn't have it. Couldn't make it happen. And in this situation, Gideon had just picked up his own Sundered Sky. He was actually trying to come in like, I can fight now. I picked up my item. I'm strong. Burns the ultimate. Not only does he get nothing for it, but dies in return. That was his hope, was to have the comeback play. This was his moment.
Yeah, and he also had to watch the Gideon grubs get taken as well.
That's why he was so
bad news.
That's why he was so intent on getting them.
Yep. He was pretty triggered by the fact that they didn't go to him. They are his buff after all. As Teddy and I'm going to look for a little bit of a reset here, but not allowed to go home. Gio says, stick around, please. And they will have to acquiesce. Currently, DRX with a lot of 100% kill contribution here. As it's all been about Andal, Willa, and Yukal getting around the map, making things happen. And it's kind of perfect, right? With the mobility of the Taliyah, playing around your jungler and getting Andal involved. Pretty impressive stuff so far in this early game from DRX. And we were questioning the value of the Taliyah. Remember, this was picked so early in the draft, and they're making it work. They're playing to the strengths of the champions that they picked early, and that's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah, and honestly, I was worried about, you know, the Rise Pantheon, the value they can get, and the fact you invested into the Braum as well for really emphasis on that skirmishing, it just hasn't worked out. Pretty concerning. We did see Bro putting a lot of pressure on bot lane. Like, okay, we're not winning on the top side. We're going to try and punish Jiwoo, but...
Andal's making his way in. And now Namgung's in a very awkward spot. There is the dash out of the way of the True Shot Barrage, and Glacial Fissure will be enough to get the Bros out of there.
If we look at the end result, the difference between the 80 carries is Jiwoo's ahead in gold.
Yeah.
He's down a bit of farm, but he's actually up in terms of gold. It hasn't worked out.
Oh no, Teddy had his back interrupted as Namgung's in a lot of trouble. In comes the mega fed jungler here in Willer, and there is Namgung actually getting singled out. Tepid Fate is gorgeous as the audacious charge from Willer is so beautiful. Gideon left on his own underneath this outer turret, 6-1 in favor of DRX.
And you look, Andal 0-0-6 on the bot, 100% kill participation. Willer 4-0-2. This jungle support duo are just getting it done. Gio, I said he was just a little bit ahead now, picks up that kill as well. Feeling even better
big
about
ahead
it
now, we can probably say. Is let's have a look at this dive one more time. Tepid Fate positioning absolutely gorgeous here by Andal.
This looks scary, but they couldn't actually take him out. Will create some space. Heal comes in, he ults, and with the tower not there, Gio can finish up this kill on the Braum. Willer gets to dive in on the Ezreal who was stalled, and then they can just leave the Pantheon alone, who's a bit too healthy to take down. I Tepid Fate massive value.
Could have actually gone into the Tepid Fate to keep himself alive. As I'll have to hold my thought for a moment. Gio, without any summoner spells, is all alone underneath this turret and will be taken out. Gideon will find his second kill of the game. That is a good answer back here by the bros, pulling that gold lead under 2,000. And in fact, bringing it even closer to 1 with all of that crystalline overgrowth being taken out.
Yeah, definitely need more picks like that. And it was kind of, you know, what was talked about in the coach voice before, the Pantheon ult, that's the tempo they have finding picks like that. Especially when you're behind like this, you need a numbers advantage and to find isolated members. So you're really just waiting for that cooldown. 20 seconds on Dragon though, I don't think Bro are in a position to take a straight 5v5.
And it's already a Chemtech. It's the double tech to start us off here. Hopefully it's not an Ocean Soul. That'd be very boring, as Gideon might be in a little bit of trouble here. Weave as well to come on through here from UCal at the same time. True Shot Barrage doing a fair bit of work, but Namgung to be singled out. Roamer off to the side, fighting against Gio, is casting great flank angle to get him amongst it, and they're going to take down the Yunara. You can see Willer trying to fight Gideon, but he does manage to pull away. Teddy, though, is singled out, and he's going to get destroyed as Willer just audaciously charges the blue buff, and he'll take that on his way out. Just a trade of bottom lane for AD carry, and DRX somehow come out ahead.
Looked a little bit scary for a bit there. I honestly think Bro's approach to the fight wasn't bad, but I think the goal disadvantage and also some of the repositioning from DRX helped them navigate what started as a bit of a rough fight. Gio kind of just got taken out immediately, and the flanking Renekton was initially a big threat, but unfortunately just wasn't the gas in the tank for the bros.
Yeah.
Dragon will go over to DRX.
I really thought that that was going to be successful, as we'll have a look at it one more time and see where it all went wrong here for the bros, because it started off looking like the answers were there by DRX, but then the bros did get that phenomenal flank angle. Look at this ward.
Yeah, so the Renekton coming in, and also with the root being laid down on Jiwoo, Andal's already low, Jiwoo's getting exploded, Willer's going super deep to kill the Braum, and it looks like it's going to be a good cleanup for this portal so Andal can slip away, and then also Willer diving to the blue buff so he gets out. You know, you'd think those two could have gone down, but it's just the repositioning means that two people who are in uncomfortable spots get away. And I think it could have been like maybe a 3-for-1 for Bro. Otherwise, ends up being a maybe a 3-for-2, sorry, ends up being a 2-for-1. And DRX had to pick up the Dragon. So just good repositioning, good use of the blue buff from Willer. And the Renekton flying kind of gets neutralized by that.
Yep, Teddy as well, just in a very awkward position after that teleport came through from Rich. So that is a large reason why as well a lot of the DPS was separated from the bros in that last fight. Is now Roma finding a bit of damage here onto Rich, but Andal's going to come on over and just prepare some tea for him, and he should be A-okay. But this turret, not necessarily looking the healthiest.
I think as well, Gio, you know, I was talking in the pre-show about Fiend Hunter getting buffed, which has just been the default second item for the Yunara.
Yep.
But it got like a sizable buff, so the fact that you were already building it and it's now stronger is going to feel like such a big spike on those two items when it does come through.
Yeah, the two-item spike going to feel pretty fantastic. As, speaking of which, Gio is now poised in the mid lane to try and lock things down. Right now is the only one with a gold disadvantage, and it was an Infernal Soul after that Drake did get taken down, so pretty high value one. Especially when Rich is going to be on a side lane, right? Like these sorts of things, if it is DRX that can continue stacking these and getting all of that extra damage, going to be pretty dangerous. As Andal is just a walking canteen. Just given as many, like just a cafe. There it is, Gio just going to become a bit more healthy. As UCal here towards this bottom side crashes another wave. Only one plate remaining in both of our bottom lane turrets. But no one really there to take them out just yet. No one feeling all that confident. Right now, the Bros with a lot of vision in that area, but still 2.5 minutes on the Dragon. So not a whole lot of reason to be down towards the bottom side unless they're going to try and push for that first turret of the game. Still hasn't been taken down just yet. I just realized that Bard is the ultimate Bro and Brew champion.
Yeah.
He's the only one that actually brews. Apart from Gragas, I guess. Gragas,
Yeah, Gragas does also brew.
he brews a fair bit. But it's the different kind of brewing. And
Yeah.
this is the cup of tea brewing, which is, I think, what the Bro and Brew really stands for, you know? Because it's dignified, you know?
You know, if you're a Bro fan, whether you're having your tea or you're having a drink, that's fine.
Yeah.
Either way, it's good.
Probably fits. It fits the vibes. And so there is still another Bro and Brew champion that we can have. Hopefully, Fearless will be able to give us a Gragas game later on so that we do complete the full set. And the full set is only 2, so it's not like you really do.
Is there anyone else? I guess Gentleman Cho'Gath?
Oh, yeah. Up you go. God, I love that skin.
All right, I feel like we'd have to go into skins rather than going to, like...
Yeah.
I don't think there's any champions that fit it, unless we're missing something really obvious.
Like, the whole Debonair skin line would definitely fit.
Yeah.
So we could have actually had Debonair Ezreal in this game.
Oh, isn't there... What's his Zenzawa skin where he's in a suit?
Oh, that's Tuxedo.
Oh.
That's the Jackie Chan skin.
Still good vibes.
From that great movie. Did you watch that movie?
Which one was it?
I think it was called The Tuxedo.
Oh, yeah.
It's dope.
I did watch that movie.
Did you know that Jackie Chan did all of his own stunts in that movie?
Doesn't he do all of his own stunts in a lot of movies?
Yeah, all of them. That's how I knew that.
Wow.
Or at least, like, maybe not towards the end of his career when he was, like, much older. I don't know. But it was certainly true for a really long time.
Yeah.
And all of the coolest ones were definitely Jackie Chan.
I've seen a lot of videos of him doing crazy stunts.
Have you seen The Drunken Boxer? God, that movie is so good.
I haven't seen that
It's
one.
like some of like the best like martial arts choreography I have ever seen. And Jackie Chan, of course, does all of it because, of course, that is a martial art that he invented himself. So there you go. Bit of Bro and Brew, and it fits, right? It's on theme because it's the Drunken Boxer.
There we go.
You know?
That's how we bring
very
it all
Gragas.
full circle.
Very
right?
Gragas.
Back to the original point.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful.
All right. DRX, in the meantime, by the way, guys, if you were asking us to talk about the game, Orcs, catch us up on what has happened.
We do have some items coming in. Fiend Hunter Vaults for you. That's
go.
nice. Dragon's now up and available. And DRX like, you know what? Baron. But Bro have cottoned on to that. Actually, they just TP'd casting into bot side.
Oh, no. And they've got a ward on this Dragon. They know that they're... Triple Shot Barrage. There's a Tempered Fate not doing too much here. As Jiu is over the other side of the wall. This is a very interesting scenario. Gideon going down very low, though. And the Pantheon will just be executed. That is no jungler, but casting. Trying to take matters into his own hands. A massive Crocodile will destroy 2 with the help of Roma, who finishes them off. And a 2-for-1 old DRX. That was not the decision that you wanted to make.
Gonna look to take the mid tower now. Yukal trying to defend.
Yep, Yukal just trying to keep himself safe here, but Teddy is dashing forward. Yukal will be able to make it to the inner turret, and that will be able to keep him safe. The Dragon still up and available. Willer is still dead for 20 seconds, though 10 on Gideon, as the Bros are going to look to reset and then come back once again. Let's have a look at this one more time.
It was like magnetism, you know? Bro with the Dragon, DRX were at the Baron, and they just like got drawn to each other. Like there was some compulsion to fight in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Casting though got massive value here, just sliding in. DRX couldn't get a handle on him. And this sort of point in the game where he's just a bit too tanky. You know,
Just into items as well,
yeah. The Sterix as well, the shield. I'm not even sure if it came in here. I don't think he got low enough, but they would have to do so much damage to actually cut through him. Oh, Pantheon going in. Yeah,
looking for it once again, but Yukal does have the seismic shove in position. Good flank angle here from Rich as well, but does need to be careful.
They got Willer's ult though. That's pretty high value, I'd say.
Oh, the Bro and Brew has really reached a turning point here as we have now started to set up for gentlemen's team fights over and over again. All 5 members back on the Rift as there is going to be Namgung pulled back. Puts up the door though, that will mitigate a fair bit of this damage. Vision now down as Casting looking to once again get himself into that backline, but Andal's going to spot him out there. Does throw him back with the Blast Cone. There is going to be the steal away as the Pantheon held in position by the Tempered Fate. They do manage to get the seismic shove as well, as Gideon in a lot of trouble, and Willa's going to be able to lock that one down. Casting now in also a whole lot of trouble, and the seismic shove is so good, but Casting gets in there once again with the ultimate. This time he's too low, and this time he's going to get punished as DRX take down 3 and get out safe.
Bro, sights set on the dragon. They managed to pick it up, but just weren't really in a position to follow up on the fight, and DRX just held them close, put a hand on their forehead and said, you ain't coming any closer than this. The Talia really locking down not only the Pantheon, but the Renekton as well. Just couldn't do anything. Roma and Teddy just watching as the teammates get cut down.
Oh, UCAL just going to close the door here on this Baron. There is no Gideon for another 4 seconds and doesn't have ult, so he's not making his way over here, as now Teddy could be in trouble. They flash on top of Andal, and they take him down, but the Baron will be secured. A gentleman's sacrifice here from the 100% kill contribution Bard. And now let's have a look at the replay.
Yeah, Andal tracks Casting on the flank, then gets his great ult onto the Pantheon. UCAL flips Gideon in, and then Rich slams Casting into the wall, and he just doesn't get to play the game. Stunned by the Bard, flipped again. Namgun tries to save him, just dies as well.
I thought with the Dominus coming up, he might have been able to do something, just a little too low.
Yeah, the melees on Bro just don't get to play the game anymore. They're just kind of held still, and unless you find like a flank angle or have flash to immediately get in, you just get stun locked for so long. It's really awkward.
Yeah, I feel like maybe the composition is reaching a use-by date. Well, something like that here for the Bros.
He did just pick up the actualizer.
Okay, never mind. We're back again.
If Roma finds an angle, it's good. But he did just flash to kill a Bard, so it's not ideal. There's also, you know, I talked about Cleanse being of massive value for DRX.
Yeah.
Andal's picked up Mikhail's. You know, Jiwoo's starting to get, I think he's going towards LDR.
Oh dear. Okay, that is more plates going over to Rich here, throwing rocks around and things like that.
Pickaxe, so he won't be. But he's getting strong.
He certainly is. Should be a shield bow coming in second here, or something like that for Jiu. We'll see what he does decide to go with in the end. That is a lot of plate gold. DRX have just been a little bit better at destroying turrets. Only one has actually been taken down here by the Bros. Maybe that's a reason why they are 3,000 gold behind. But team fights seem to be going in DRX's favor as well, and that's going to continue as this Baron is just slaughtering all of these structures. And this is what you were talking about earlier on as well. I mean, Rich is going to be a menace in the side lane. That is continuing right here. Flash out of the way of the Tempered Fate as the Bros are scared and DRX are closing in.
Just feels so difficult for Bro to close the distance. Oh, UCAL himself has gone.
He has actualized? UCAL's like, I can do it. This Rise build is so good, I'm just going to build it on anything.
He's going to copy him.
There we go.
Yeah,
hopefully he plays Cassiopeia and Anivia in the next 2 games, and he could actually just do the same build.
We are on 26.2. There is plans for them to buff this item in the next patch, but it's still not being buffed, right? So it's still just normal actualizer. So
yeah, it's still ridiculous on Rise. Gideon going to get caught out here as Jiu is going to get cleansed. The Aegis goes up, but Gideon doesn't have very much support, and pop goes the Pantheon.
He just got exploded. Yeah, that did happen.
Yep. And it's an 8-1 and 4 Zins out. Willa is so incredibly massive.
Yeah, him and Andal have just completely ran this game.
Yep. I'm going to say, like, I think Andal's front runner for POM, and it's not close at this point in time. This guy's Bard looking absolutely fantastic once more. As Flickback just barely going to miss. Maybe UCAL's close as well. Honestly, the flicks have also been very pivotal in a lot of these fights. Coordination from DRX just looking a little bit better. As I say that, of course, he does miss a seismic shove, but that is how commentating works.
I mean, all I can say for the Bros is that at least it's fearless, because you don't have to deal with a lot of these picks next game, because yeah, it's not looking good.
No.
The Bard has been a massive issue. I think the composition, the timer has passed. I think you didn't get those early skirmishes. The one condition right now you have is Roma on this Rise. If you can find a way to get in the right targets, put some big damage in, that's great. But, you know, you have the Mikhails on Andal, you have the shield bow now on Jiwoo. UCAL is honestly pretty damn tanky for Talia. Especially the actualizer as well, even buffs the Seraph shield, so...
Yeah, true.
It's kind of difficult if GA on Willa
This is going to be a difficult team fight to win, but they're going to have to try. True Shot Barrage softens up Willa and Andal. They've got some coffee to drink, or some tea. There's another Tempered Fate to lock down this Pantheon. Seismic Shove doesn't find him this time, though, as there is the two-man knock-up from Namgung, but he's going to get thrown back as well. Rich has that Nabar in a pretty good position, but looking a little worse for wear. DRX.
Yeah, some good poke coming out from Bro actually this time, so maybe able to get position on the Dragon.
Yeah, there is still vision down here by DRX. Willa moves on over. And the Bros, let's see whether they can keep coordinated and make something happen as Yukal, looking to flick back casting here, was wanting to go on a bit of a flank angle once again.
Rich's Mega's about to run out too. This is honestly as good as you're going to get for Bros to take this fight.
Well, Willa could be in trouble here as he's taken down very low. That is going to be the steal away from Gideon. Very nicely done. As DRX probably just want to get out of here at this point. There is a Realm Warp, though, to deny it, and there's the man drop that comes on through, but an immediate flick, and Yukal says good night to the Pantheon once again. This time, Casting can't make his way in as the concussive blows wear off onto Rich. And DRX just take down the jungler and move on.
They get a Dragon, which is still good, but you can see even with the best conditions possible, there's still a gold lead for DRX. It's still so hard for the melees to close the distance and get onto the right targets.
Let's have a look at it one more time. I think the main thing here, though, is the Dragon was denied.
Yeah, it still just comes down to a flip at the end of the day that Gideon ends up winning. Obviously on Pantheon, a lot easier to secure than other junglers with the execute. But here, he oversteps and gets deleted. And you kind of just have to dive forwards to try and make it work. But there's so many peel tools on DRX. If you're not coming at multiple angles, they just throw the Unraveled Ears down, they do the flick backs, they do the stuns from the Bard. And it ends up backfiring. And now Casting has no flash, which I think is pretty rough. Gideon and Roma have theirs, though.
Yeah, possible angle.
Also with no flash, so that's something. But duo with both sums, definitely scary. And getting scary, approaching that Infinity Edge. That's the thing as well. You know, I talked about the Fiend Hunter being buffed. It's nice when you get it, you know, but it's also if you're already gonna crit, you get the extra true damage. That is something that got buffed as well. The true damage is more from 10% to 15%. So, you know, when you get that IE, you get some massive true damage.
Oh no, Gideon has to flash once again. And so how does the Pantheon get over the wall in order to stop this Baron?
He has to ult in, which makes it awkward to time it, and his ult's not quite up yet, so they need to buy some time here.
Well, there's the teleport in from Casting. Rich trying to get as much information as possible, chasing down this Braum for now. As now looking to get on top, and he's so slippery. Tempered Fate onto 3 as the Realm Walk does absolutely nothing. Teddy is executed, a massive Gnar into the wall as Casting gets that shield from the Sterix, but it does nothing at all. Goomba stomped and taken out, and DRX are just running the show here. 3 on the floor, and they sacrifice the Bard, but it is another beautiful, worthy sacrifice from Andal.
Andal is just putting on a clinic.
17 assists! 17 assists, Hawks!
That ult just catching all 3 of them as they just got in aggressive. It was just perfect. Baron secured now for DRX, and it feels like things are just going from bad to worse for the Bros.
Yeah, and look at this. Did Yukal just complete boots as a mid laner? Is that what happened? Tell me that didn't just...
I think
that must have been a mistake.
No, he switched boots. I think he switched boots.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
thank God, okay. All right.
So they got their triple ult here and managed to catch Ezreal when he'd gone in with the rest of his team to try and funnel onto the Gnar. Perfect ult there, honestly, from Andal.
Beautiful.
And he gets focused down, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, I believe he had the...
Lucidity, right?
Lucidity, yeah, for the movement speed. So now he switched over to the upgraded Sorks. He wants that extra pen. And I think the game plan is he's going Rabadons. He doesn't have any percentage pens. This kind of allows him to cheat a little bit and not feel as bad about going Void Staff later. I guess that's the theory behind it. But yeah, I definitely remember he had...
Yeah, okay, good. As long as he did have some shoes to make use of his quest. But this is going to be base broken here towards the top side of the map. DRX just moving forward like a freight train for now, and the Bros not with too many options as far as stopping them. You need to make it stopping trains. Like, what do you need? Spider-Man? Spider-Man does that.
Spider-Man can stop train.
He did do that one time.
A train.
Yeah, he did. I remember that.
It was pretty hard.
Yeah.
But he did do it.
And it was a while ago, so maybe there's more tech that some of the other Spider-Mans have figured out as well. They need to get one of them, though, to figure out how to stop this, because DRX closing in. 2 inhibitors now taken down. And the Bros, I mean, they're going to have to force something to get them off these Nexus turrets.
No one has flash yet, though, so it's really hard. Namgun's closest, but engage Braum. We've talked about
Oh
this.
dear, that does not work. There's another flick back. Casting just taking too much damage, and here goes the Pantheon. He's just thrown around like a ragdoll, though. Not a whole lot of options here as he moves towards the bottom side, looking to try and get himself out. The Bros looking worse for wear, but DRX also taking a bit of damage, and they take down Rich, and so they will have to exit. The Bros successful defense for now.
Yep. I mean, the ult comes in. You don't have flashes. They have flashes. And even if they didn't, it's like you have Mikhail's on Andal. You could have just Mikhail's Jukal and he just walks off the stun.
Rich just died to Roma, and it was unceremonious. I was like, how did I miss that? But it was off screen.
Yeah, I mean, Roma does a lot of damage. He needs to be able to hit people. This is the main issue they're having right now. They're moving on this dragon, though, and Rich is still dead.
Well, Rumwap to bring Roma in. DRX just not electing to do that. They're going to do the winning the game thing.
Base, yes, base.
Hey, but
important.
Even if their Nexus does go down, they got 3 Infernal Drakes.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty cool. Tempered Fate going to hold on to Teddy here as the Weaver's wall. Oh dear, flash out of the way, and he does Arcane Shift as well, and it'll probably not going to be enough to deal with the Ezreal at the moment. But DRX are just trying to stop backs to make sure that these minions can get ushered into the turrets.
How much
as
time
Yukal is
just
hunting him down.
He did get... Oh, wait.
He'll get away
over the wall.
Oh dear.
Does he know?
Oh, the circle! Perfect position, and the barrier is not actually enough to stop him from being taken down. Oh, Teddy, no! He'll get taken out. Gio delivered another kill, and now 4 versus 5 to defend the Nexus here for the Bros.
That was so nice as well. Like the fact that Gio found him, Teddy tries for the barrier to get the recall, but it's just not enough. Doesn't block enough damage. A cute attempt from Teddy, but he gets caught out there. And now, without the Ezreal, I think there's no real chance here for
I'm a bit sad. I kind of wish that Andal had have hit him more recently. Because Andal was the one that was, you know, like telling them, go get the Ezreal, but he didn't get an assist. Oh, really disappointing. Well, there's a Tempered Fate. That's going to hold on to Roma here. Oh, Yukal, he's pretty good at these. The flash does have to be used. Gets Roma to safety, but it's not going to help. Now I'm going to bottom lane. Now waiting in the death chamber. Still 10 seconds on Teddy. Nexus turrets just getting destroyed as Willa goes in. They're going to try and take down this Rise. Before this one happens, it's a 3-man Gnar from Rich, though. And this should complete the ace, or at least send them to meet Teddy, who has just come back up again. Gio trying to find these autos, gets a triple, takes down the Nexus, and DRX will lead 1-0.
And you know, it obviously is fearless, but even if it wasn't, we'd only be seeing 1 game of Andal Bard.
Yeah.
He is just good on this champion.
Thankfully, the Bros don't need to ban it from now on.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, Andal needs to join Carrier in the not allowed to play Bard list.
Yeah, he was just absolutely styling on them. So many good ults, so many good stuns, so many good plays. Had just an absolute masterclass, and it's such a good start to the series for DRX. Him and Willow work together so well, setting a good tone.
Yep.
And the thing is as well, right, you got like the Rise from Roma. This is such a big budget pick. I think some of the other picks, you know, I don't think Bro's as bothered about losing, but the Rise for Roma was one of his better picks he's had so far. So the fact that they've lost that.
Yeah, and he only died at the very end of the game. He managed to stay alive, but just couldn't really get the value, right? Like, we've spoken about this so many times, the like palm on the forehead, and they're trying to hit, but they actually can't.
진짜 나오기 전에 바둑공 한번 쓰자.
라이즈 잡을게. 라이즈 스펠 빼야 될게 할게.
이거 라이즈 갈려 있는데 나 살짝 보고 싶다.
올라, 조용히 생각해.
진짜 갑시다. 라이즈 노플이야. 말리지 마. 아, 나 라이즈 노플.
라이즈 해보자.
야, 라이즈 노플. 아래 거부터.
야, 라이즈 한번 볼게. 아래 거부터 해봐. 라이즈 잡자.
나이스. 아, 나 점프 잘못 눌러서 큰일 날 뻔했네.
빠하자.
점프 잘하다. 나이스, 잘했다. 나이스.